Welcome to Kensington. Kensington has a population of 10,812 as of the 2016 census. The density is 2,770 per square kilometers. Postcode 3031. Area 3.9 square kilometers. Locations very close to the city, 4 kilometers from the CBD. Local government City of Melbourne. Surrounding suburbs Flemington, West Melbourne, Footscray, Parkville, and North Melbourne. Kensington is known for its village feel, and there's a number of cafes. There's also a diversity of architecture, and the architecture includes Victorian terraces, cottages, warehouse apartments. It also includes new structures or design in the western part of the suburb. And in terms of the history of the suburb, this is what Google said.
According to Wikipedia, Kensington was once home to one of Victoria's major abattoirs and livestock sale yards, an army ordnance depot and a number of factories. The stockyards ceased operation in 1984, prompting significant urban renewal in the area now known as Kensington Banks.
At a local government level, Kensington is part of the City of Melbourne, which also includes parts of Flemington. In the Victorian Legislative Assembly, Kensington is part of the electoral district of Melbourne. At a federal level, Kensington is part of the Division of Melbourne. There are 3 train stations in the area. First is Kensington Station on the Craigieburn Railway line. Second is the South Kensington, served by trains on the Werribee and Williamstown lines. Macaulay on the Outfield line. There are 2 bus routes, the 402, which runs along Macaulay and Kensington roads, and the other one is 404, which runs along Smithfield and Epsom roads. Now with some stats. Male to female ratio 48.2 to 51.8%. Median age 33. Families 2,590. Private dwellings 5,255. Average people per household 2.2. Median weekly household income 1,956. Median monthly mortgage repayments 2019. Median weekly rent 392. Registered marital status. Married people 34.1% compared to Victoria 48.4%, and Australia 48.1%. Never married 53.3% compared to Victoria 35.5% and Australia 35%. Highest level of education, almost half actually have a bachelor degree level and above, 49% compared to Victoria 24.3% and Australia 22%. Year 12, 14.7% compared to Victoria 15.9% and Australia 15.7%. Now the top ancestry. English 21.4% compared to Victoria 22.6% and Australia 25%. Australian 16.9% compared to Victoria 21.1% and Australia 23.3%. Irish 10.6% compared to Victoria 7.6% and Australia 7.6%. Country of birth 61.2% in Australia compared to Victoria 64.9% and Australia 66.7%. So a majority, more than half are born in Australia. Other top responses: China 3.7% compared to Victoria 2.7% and Australia 2.2%. England 3.3% compared to Victoria 2.9% and Australia 3.9%. Country of birth of parents: both parents born overseas 41.4% compared to Victoria 38.5% and Australia 34.4%. Both parents born in Australia 38.3% compared to Victoria 44.1. In Australia, 47.3. Religious affiliation. No religion described, 47.3, compared to Victoria, 31.7%, in Australia, 29.6. Catholic, 19.3, compared to Victoria, 23.2, in Australia, 22.6. Now, language other than English. Top responses: Mandarin, 4.2%, compared to Victoria, 3.2, and Australia, 2.5. Cantonese, 3%, compared to Victoria, 1.3, and Australia, 1.2. Vietnamese, 2.9, compared to Victoria, 1.7, and Australia, 1.2. Now, in terms of employment, most people work full-time, 65.7%, compared to Victoria, 57%, in Australia, 57.7%. Unemployed, below average, 4.9%, compared to Victoria, 6.6%, in Australia, 6.9%. Now, the occupation or the type of occupation: professionals, 43.1%, compared to Victoria, 23.3%, and Australia, 22.2%. Managers, 15.1%, compared to Victoria, 13.5%, in Australia, 13%. Clerical and admin, 12.8%, compared to Victoria, 13.3%, and Australia, 13.6%. Now, for the comparison of the median weekly incomes: personal income, 1,012, compared to Victoria, 644, in Australia, 662. So it's almost double the weekly median income for personal. What about family? Family is 2,480, compared to Victorian, 1,715, in Australia, 1,734. So over the average. Household income, 1,956, compared to Victoria, 1,419, and Australia, 1,438. So people here are actually earning way above the average. Now, people who travel to work by public transport, 34%, compared to Victoria, 12.6%, and Australia, 11.5%. People who travel to work by car as driver or passenger, 42%, compared to Victoria, 68.3%, and Australia, 68.4%. Now, in terms of dwelling structure, it's interesting. There's quite a bit of mix. So, separate house, 13.9%, compared to Victoria, 73.2%, and Australia, 72.9%. Semi-detached row or terrace house or townhouse, 52.6%, compared to Victoria, 14.2%, and Australia, 12.7%. Flat or apartment, 33%, compared to Victoria, 11.6%, and Australia, 13.1%. So because the suburb is very close to the city, it makes sense to have that, semi-detached townhouse or flat apartment types of dwellings rather than houses. Now, the number of bedrooms: one bedroom, 15.5%, compared to Victoria, 5.1%, and Australia, 5%. Two bedrooms, 42.9%, compared to Victoria, 19.3%, and Australia, 18.9%. Three bedrooms, 30.5%, compared to Victoria, 44%, and Australia, 41.1%. So, there's a lot of two bedrooms and three bedrooms. Now, tenure: those people who own outright, 16%, compared to Victoria, 32.3%, and Australia, 31.7%. Own with a mortgage, 29.3%, compared to Victoria, 35.3%, and Australia, 34.5%. Now, people who rent, which is majority, 51.9%, compared to Victoria, 28.7%, and Australia, 30.9%. Now, the comparison of the rent and the mortgage repayments: for the median rent is 392, compared to Victoria, 325, in Australia, 335. So the rent here is a bit expensive than average. So the mortgage repayment is 2,019 per month. compared to Victoria, 1728, and Australia, 1755. So the mortgage repayment is also expensive. That's it, guys, for Kensington. You can also follow me on Instagram at the Australian Suburbs. Enjoy the rest of the video.